National Broadcasting Company presents the National Football League. Today from Jack Murphy Stadium, it's the Seattle Seahawks versus the San Diego Chargers. Brought to you by Budweiser, proud sponsor of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. This Bud's for you. By Pontiac, we build excitement. And by Dr. Pepper and Dr. Pepper bottlers throughout the USA.
From sun-swept Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, the Chargers, their first game at home, hopeful of a win against the Seattle Seahawks, who come in 2-0. With Merlin Olsen, I'm Ray Scott. Delighted you're with us on such a magnificent day. The figures tell the story, and it is indeed sun-swept. The coin toss has been conducted, and the Seahawks won and will receive. And this kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Vince Abbott to kick off. The Seattle receivers will be Randall Morris and Bobby Joe Edmonds. Merlin, you've been an observer of what's transpired these early weeks. It looks like the commissioner's parity might be achieved, as our fans and viewers are going to understand as we pass along scores throughout the day.
Not many undefeated teams after today. These two teams, their records tell you more than just records. That's the kind of teams they are. San Diego are looking for their first win. Seattle undefeated at the moment.
So delighted you're with us, and here we go. This will be Bobby Joe Edmonds, and he will not run it out. So the Seahawks will start from their 20. Here will be the offensive players for the Seattle Seahawks. Dave Craig, yet to incur an interception this season. Kurt Warner and John L. Williams are running backs. Steve Largent, and he'll be a story in himself this afternoon. Ray Butler, the other wide receiver, and the tight end Mike Tice. An offensive line of Ron Mattis, Edwin Bailey, Blair Bush, Brian Millard, and Mike Wilson. The Seahawks have been very, very efficient in compiling this undefeated record. Largent to the left and Butler to the right as the Seahawks start from their 20. Warner, the tailback, number 28, and John L. Williams, a marvelous fullback, number 32. This is Warner. Despite a lead block from his fullback, John L. Williams, no gain, and Mike Charles of the front line of the Chargers saw to it that there was no gain. Williams, Charles, and Miller. That's the front threesome. Backed up by Keith Browner, Chuck Fawcett, Gary Plummer, and David Brandon. And the secondary at the corners, Patterson and Bird, Bayless the strong safety, and Glenn the free safety. There was no gain for Warner on first down. Second down, 10. Craig to the air. No. Did he get it away? No. He was ruled in the grasp. And speaking of Dave Craig, Merlin, he has a reputation of being inconsistent, is he?
Well, he's had some problems of that kind. He's certainly off to a good start this year. He just takes a little too much time here. San Diego's been giving too much time. A little bit quick on the whistle as you saw him whipping that football. It's not only grasp, as you know, Ray, but control. And a question whether he was literally in the control, but that call is made to protect the quarterback. And I don't think they mind if every now and again it's a little early.
So the eventual ruling is it's a catch. Third down, 1. The gain was 9. Warner now lines up to the left of Williams. Butler was in motion. Warner gets the first down. Kurt Warner, Merlin, in my opinion, and I had the privilege of televising all of his college games at Penn State, has made one of the really outstanding recoveries from what had to be a reconstructed knee.
He still has that explosive ability to get away from people at the line of scrimmage. I'd add this to what you just said, Ray. I think with John L. Williams in the backfield with Warner, you've got the finest tandem of running backs in the NFL.
First and 10, Seattle, their own 32. A lot of movement around in that backfield. Warner just moved from a left halfback position to the tailback. Fake, play action, and there is Largent. 23-yard pickup for Steve Largent, who is on the verge of yet another fantastic career record.
Largent continues to entertain us with his great catches. Has the ability to put that defender in his pocket. You can't even see Elvis Patterson, 34, until he finally comes into the picture along with Plummer to make the tackle. But that's what Steve Largent will do to you. Make you think he's running one pattern, and suddenly he's already into another.
And Paul Scansey, number 82, replaces Largent. First down, Seahawks, 45 of the Chargers. This time from splitbacks. Now this is Williams. What a powerful runner out of the University of Florida. John L. Williams, coming into this game, had gained exactly the same yardage as Warner, but with fewer carries.
He is a powerful runner. When football coaches want to describe the running of a fullback, they talk about a player who can move the pile. And what that means is he literally runs over the defensive players. John L. Williams is that kind of player, but he also has the ability to catch passes, and he's an excellent blocker. I think perhaps the best balanced fullback in the NFL.
Second down 3 after Williams picked up 7. Largent is still out. Scansey in his place, wide to the right. Butler's off to the left. Warner. The block is from Williams. About a half-yard shy of a first down at the Charger 36 as Lee Williams, number 99, one of the front threesome, made the stop.
Kurt Warner's record versus the Chargers. You can see an average of a touchdown a game and over 100 yards a game. This Charger defense still trying to get to the point where they can start to dominate a little bit. That's made difficult today because they're absent Billy Ray Smith, the finest of their players, the best of the defensive players for the Chargers. They're in a 4-man line basically because of an absence of linebackers.
Third down, 1. Warner, and he has the first down. And then some. Inside the 30, Kurt Warner, the former Penn Stater. And Vincey Glenn, a third-year player out of Indiana State. And the free safety had to make the stop.
You're going to have a chance to watch Kurt Warner from behind and watch how he reads the blocking. John L. Williams leading out in front. That's Edwin Bailey, number 65, out in front. There's the good block, but you see how quickly he accelerates when he spots that opening. I'll tell you, the mark of a great back, the eyes to see the opening and the quickness to take advantage of it.
First down at the 29 of the Chargers. Batted in the air. This might be 6. This might be 6 for Keith Browner. The ball was batted by Tyrone Keys, and who knows, Merlin, this might be a spark for this Charger team that is so desperate to play well at home and get that elusive first win.
The Chargers needed to get a break to get things going. They have not been playing that well defensively. They have not been able to put heat on the quarterback. But their personality is to try and get some pressure with the blitz. And here it comes up inside. Keys right there, hands in Craig's face. And Browner alertly snares it out of the air. Nobody home. He'll go in for the touchdown.
Vince Abbott will try to make it 7-0. And he does. So just like that, the Seahawks take the opening kickoff, have an excellent drive underway, and it's suddenly 7-0. The other team will be right back. A perfect example as to how one play can excite the home crowd when the home crowd is so desperate for the team to do well.
They have wanted to get some takeaways. They've had real trouble in that department so far, Ray, and that kind of excitement, getting the crowd into the game early, is really going to help these Chargers. Look at those takeaway figures as we get the kickoff underway here, and we'll go back to that chart. It's worth looking at again.
Bobby Joe Edmonds across to 25.
And Ray, just quickly, let's look at that takeaway giveaway chart. It tells its own story. The first 2 games, the Hawks have been the ones who are taking away the football and giving it away very few times. The Chargers have had trouble getting it. Only one takeaway coming into today. They just got their second of the day, but it's a big one, and it's 7 points on the board. And now David Craig has to go to work. They were doing a good job of driving the football, but right now it's starting over again.
From the Seattle 26, Largent and Butler, wide receivers. Williams, fullback. Warner, tailback. Mike Tice, the tight end. Warner. Pick up no more than a couple of yards. Things are happening around the NFL today. That first score really surprises me. And the second one.
Both of those surprises. Not so much so. Kansas City has always been in the pain in this side for Denver.
New England, Packers close to Miami. Redskins with a fairly sizable. In Chicago.
31-7.
Oof. Oh. My first reaction was that maybe there was something wrong with the score. Second down, 7. Intended for Kurt Warner, but there was excellent coverage there by Gary Plummer, who is in now at one of the linebacker spots.
You will see this San Diego team running a lot of people on and off the field today. We mentioned the absence of Billy Ray Smith. A couple of other key people not out there. We'll show you some of those names soon, but the one thing that they need to do defensively is to increase their emotional level to get more consistency on defense. And that's not easy. And in order to do that, you've got to get off to a good start. They have done that in this ball game, and they want to put some more heat on Dave Craig.
4 wide receivers on third down, 7. No tight end. That's good for a first down because Paul Scansey was able to work his way clear for 13 and a first and 10.
Sometimes hard to tell when you look at Scansey whether you're watching Largent or Scansey. You'll see him at the bottom of your screen, number 82, running a pattern deep to break him out, and just a quick little shot. Beautifully done. Gil Bird, number 22, over to push him out of bounds. But Scansey has learned his lessons well from the master Largent and does a good job, particularly on those critical third down situations.
With 8:27 left to play in the first quarter, we don't know anything about the Charger offense. They haven't had the ball yet, but the Chargers lead 7-0. On first down, Craig to Williams. The way he could shed, in this case, the tackle of Elvis Patterson first.
The tackle by number 50.
Great body control by John L. Williams. He's out in the skinned area of this football field. That's a nasty place to try and keep your footings. Watch the way Craig looks the play off. Little screen back. Good job of acting. Now watch John L. avoid the first tackle by Patterson, 34, and right there almost slips. But look, he still makes a couple of yards before number 50, Plummer, can get on top of him and get him down. Excellent play.
Result, gain of 6. Second down, 4. Seahawks at their own 48. Midway first quarter. Now Warner. Again, it's Williams living up to what you said earlier about being a complete football player.
Here are some of the missing faces, Ray, that these Chargers would love to have on the field with them today. The first, obviously, the man who's dominated at quarterback, Lachey, traded their finest offensive lineman, Kellen Winslow, so great here over the years, suspended, simply was not able to play. That's a story we'll talk about later. Chip Banks is in Atlanta. He just didn't sign. Chandler is in San Francisco, and Billy Ray Smith, their finest defensive player, a calf injury. He's on the sideline today.
First and 10, Seattle. Charger 47. Williams. Now that had to be a broken assignment, wasn't it? Or just because it took so long to develop?
I would think, Ray, it was a broken assignment. But you'll have a chance to watch it as the cornerback appeared to blitz on that play, and Williams ends up drifting out. You see him right there, 32, disappears. It's the play action on the blitz that really gets them in trouble as Craig sees a little bit of room, and there's no one out there within 10, 15 yards. Look at Largent, number 80, getting the block. Williams, number 99, from a standing position as a defensive end, unable to get any pressure on the quarterback.
31-yard gain to the 17 of the Chargers. Now Warner doing his thing. Oh, there was a great play by Lee Williams, better known for his pass rushing ability, but he played that one real tough.
If this defense is going to improve, Lee Williams has to get meaner and has to make that kind of play. Right-hand side of your screen, number 99. Watch him just pick up Kurt Warner with one arm and put him on his back. Fine defensive play.
Meanwhile, one of the Chargers sustained an injury, and he's being attended to right now. It's going to be second down 11, thanks to that play by Williams. When play resumes, it'll be second down 11. We're trying to pick up the number of the player who's down. 93, that would be Tyrone Keys. Well, he's the man who batted the ball in the air that enabled Browner to score the game's only touchdown. And so we have 6:40 left in the first quarter. The Chargers have a 7-0 lead over the Seahawks. We'll be back. On the play which occasioned the timeout, Tyrone Keys apparently sustained a slight injury to his right knee. He's out. Keith Baldwin, number 96, has replaced him. Second down 11, Seattle. 18-yard line of the Chargers. 6:26 to play first quarter. Williams in motion. Fake to Warner. It is ruled an interception and a touchback. Gil Byrd played the intended receiver about as well as he can be played.
The San Diego defense in the secondary, the best they've had in 3 years. And Byrd, who has played all 4 defensive positions back there, is ISO'd man-to-man. Art Largent, 33 years old, losing a little of the quickness in that break. And you see Byrd not fooled at all, and Largent trying to knock the ball out of his hands, but Byrd controls it. Interception, ball to the 20. We've now got the Charger offense first time on the field.
With 6:12 to play in the quarter, our first look at Babe Loffenberg and company, who will be starting at quarterback. We expect to have Gary Anderson in the backfield as a running back, and Rod Bernstein as the H-back, as today's terminology looks like. Dave Craig along the sidelines. That's his first interception of this season. Gary Anderson, yes. Great quickness with Miller and Early. Gary Anderson is the one member of that group right there that's back from last year. Tight end, number 88 is Cox. Clay, Thompson. They're the 2 returnees, Masick and McKnight, and then David Richards. From the Charger 20.
Reverse.
And end around with Anthony Miller. No place to hide. Maybe he can turn the corner. Now he ran about 90 yards for no gain.
I think he made about a half a yard perhaps, or lost about a half a yard. But there was a chance. Obviously, one of the things that the Chargers are trying to do today is to create big plays. This is a reverse pass. He's looking downfield. Williams, the rookie, looking downfield. Nobody home. Uses his speed to get back to the line of scrimmage, and they're lucky that Early didn't get called for a clip on that shot.
Now it is 2nd and 10 from the Charger 20. Miller and Early are the 2 wide receivers. 1 yard is all that Gary Anderson was able to get, and a flag on the play.
Penalty flag on the field.
Jim Tunney, the referee, will be sorting out what happened. It's against the Chargers. That's the preliminary indication. The play gained less than a yard. We're going to have Lionel James check into the lineup, number 26.
Holding, 82, 10 yards, still second down.
Now it will be second down and 20. Bernstein, the H-back, was called for the hold. The other Charger player that just checked in, Darren Flutie, number 89. Meanwhile, defensively, these are the Seahawks who are playing. I'm anxious when we get a chance to ask you about what you think about the Boz. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
I think I can give you an answer. The
Good.
Seahawks defense, by the way, playing very well. The biggest difference in the Hawks this year, the intensity of this defense.
Second down, approximately 19 out of the shotgun. The former Indiana quarterback, Laufenberg. This is James, and a flag again is thrown. As the play was developing, then James picked up about 3. The flag was flown. Well, the Seahawks must know something. Some of their players are applauding.
Well, they could see that it's going to be a motion call against San Diego. I think they
Illegal
may call
motion,
it.
88 offense, and declined.
Refused.
Third down.
They took the big penalty, declined the 5-yarder because there was very little gain. It's going to be third down and long yardage. Laufenberg, who had a horrible week last week against Denver, 2 for 8 for 5 yards when he was lifted for Mark Malone. Not off to much of a better start here today.
The only running back is Tim Spencer, a big running back, number 43. On 3rd and 16. Whoa! Down at the 6-yard line.
Tony Woods, number 57, blitzing from the right corner slot, is in there to take him down. Chance to watch it. Right-hand side of your screen. Stunned inside, but it's Woods, the linebacker. Laufenberg could not find a receiver open, working on John Clay to come in on that spot.
And so for the Chargers, Bobby Joe Edmonds on the receiving end and gets it across the 50 to about the 46-yard line of the Chargers. On Mosienko's punt, who's been averaging over 45 yards per punt. And so, 7-0 Chargers. A correction I'd like to make. I said that interception in the end zone was the first suffered by Craig this year. I neglected to point out that it was technically an interception when Tyrone Keys batted it in the air and Keith Browner picked it off for a TD, the only score of the game.
That's right, because it was a batted pass. So far, San Diego has been able to dominate in that area, taking the ball away twice, but the one thing that would scare me if I were Ron Lynn, the defensive coordinator of the Chargers, is that the Seattle Seahawks have moved the ball so well when they've had their hands on it.
1st and 10 Seahawks, 46 of the Chargers. This is Williams. Got a good block. Picked almost 10 yards. Bensie Glenn had to make the tackle.
Number 25, Bensie Glenn. Gain of 11 yards.
Little counter play, and what you try and do with a counter play is give people bad keys. Fawcett starts to his right with that little counter and then can't get back into the play. 65, Edwin Bailey locks him up, does a good job, and John L. Williams running for the first down with a big gain.
Mattis made a key block for him, number 70, the tackle. 1st and 10, 35-yard line of the Chargers. Warner. Only about a yard this time. Chuck Fawcett mainly responsible for stopping that play, number 53. I just find that 45-3 score of the Jets hard to believe. Kansas City continues to be a thorn in the side of Denver. Miami won as pretty much expected. Buffalo a winner. Washington a winner. Minnesota, there's another shocker, the score. New Orleans, as expected. Meanwhile, 7-0 here. Chargers, Seahawks, 2nd down, 9. 34-yard line of the Chargers. Williams has the speed to get outside. And that is very close to, if not a first down. Chuck Fawcett had to make the stop.
I think it's going to be just very short. Fawcett, whose strength really is in the inside. He is a hard-nosed and tough player. Number 53, going to get to the sideline. You notice the missed block by number 70, Ron Mattis, the tackle, who's trying to pull him down inside. He missed him, and Fawcett, well, it is a first down. Just barely getting past the marker as Fawcett able to knock him out of bounds, but not until he had the yardage for the first down.
And Brian Millard was able to get out around the corner and with his block help Williams. So a 1st and 10. Warner, a little bit of a crease, but not much. Warner so far has been pretty well contained, but not Williams.
We'd shown you a panel earlier talking about the faces that are missing from the San Diego team. Seattle, too, missing some very prominent faces. Kenny Easley dominated this defense much as Fouts dominated San Diego's offense. Freddie Young, great young linebacker, finally just tested Knox's patience a little too much, was traded. Greg Gaines, a back injury, will return later in the year. Merriman out for the year, fine linebacker. Hunter has an injury, and Joe Nash has a knee injury. He could play. In fact, we could see both of those last two in this game.
Second down, 9. Williams picks up about 4. It's going to set up a 3rd down and 5 with just over 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. The play that electrified the crowd here came when Seattle was moving the ball exceedingly well. Tyrone Keys batted a Dave Craig pass in the air. Keith Browner picked it out of the air and ran for a touchdown. And we're told that that's his first TD.
Well, he certainly earned it.
Do you remember your first TD?
I remember. It was against the Packers, actually. You were probably there that day.
3rd down and 5. 4 wide receivers. No tight end. Williams, the only running back to the right of Craig in the shotgun. Here comes the pressure. Down he goes. Bensie Glenn, the free safety, blitzing. Now, tell me something, Merlin. Is that a situation where Seattle expected that he would be able to release early enough they wouldn't have to block a blitzing player?
Well, the Seattle Seahawks don't know what to expect from San Diego. They're changing everything, but they are shooting everybody on this one. Just too many people for the Seahawks to pick up as Bensie Glenn got there all by himself. That's only the 3rd sack of the year for this San Diego team. They have not been getting pressure on the quarterback, but they did get the pressure there.
Norm Johnson to try the field goal out of a hole by Jeff Kemp. He's hit his only attempt this year, and this one never had a chance. Ooh. Missed badly off to the left, so the Chargers still have a 7-0 lead despite their lack of offense, but no lack of defense in key situations. So there's no change in the scoreboard with 1:20 left in the first quarter. 7-0 Chargers. Chargers possession after the missed field goal. 26-yard line of the Chargers. 1st and 10. Laufenberg is the quarterback. Gary Anderson the only setback. Can he get to the outside? Cut back. Very close to the Chargers' initial first down.
Let's go back to that field goal for a second. Norm Johnson does not get a good shot here, but watch the hold first by Kemp. We stop it right there. The ball angled. The ball is angled. The ball is going to be hooked as he gets into it. Now watch what happens here. Stop it right there. Going to bounce off the shoulder of Edwin Bailey, number 65, and kick into the air. Not a good kick. Chargers ball, and they're moving.
Anderson again. Anderson has had difficulty, for whatever reason, in getting going this year. He's averaged only a little over 2 yards a carry. But there, 2 carries and a first down, 45-yard line of the Chargers.
He is an extremely dangerous runner, but he needs to have a running lane opened up for him. He's not a jitterbug, not like a Kurt Warner, that Kurt can find those holes by himself. You've almost got to open a little way for Anderson, but if he gets into the secondary, once he explodes and has some room to run, he's as dangerous as any back in football.
Both teams are going to allow the first quarter to come to an end. 2 seconds, 1 second, and that's the end of the first quarter. And the crowd here at Jack Murphy Stadium is delighted because the scoreboard reads Chargers 7, Seahawks nothing. We'll return to Jack Murphy Stadium right after this.
Advance with the Chargers 2 first quarter.
Al Saunders has kept saying over and over again of how young this team is and that it's going to be a good team, and continually, in effect, patting his players on the back publicly.
He needs to do that because their attitude is so important. But he talked specifically about 2 things that they had to do in this ball game. He said we have to do a better job of pressuring their quarterback and protecting ours, and they've gotten a sack today, got good pressure that resulted in a touchdown. And the turnovers, very important, 2 turnovers, and of course the touchdown off the batted ball.
1st and 10, Chargers from their 45. Whoop! That's one of the mistakes that a coach says no. In this case, it was Dennis McKnight, who perhaps...
He's not one of the young players either. McKnight, one of the few that has been around along with Masick in the middle of that line. And some of the problems so far traceable to this offensive line. They've got a rookie at right tackle and a young man in his second year at left tackle, both 300-pounders plus. But both are learning their positions, and both are going to make mistakes and have some difficulties.
1st and 15. Anderson breaks one tackle, gets about a little over 5.
The tackle number 6.
One of the reasons that the Seattle Seahawks are playing better defense so far this year is right there in the middle of your screen. 55, Bosworth, although he did not really make that play, has now become more comfortable with the system and more comfortable with himself. You see the stats, and of course the big ball control, 12 minutes and 13 seconds domination there, but that doesn't hurt. San Diego's got 7 points.
Meanwhile, came up empty. This is a 2nd and 10. In time? No. The official ruled that even though he was hit by a defensive player, he would not have been able to come down with both feet in bounds. So it's going to be 3rd down 10. Anthony Miller, the intended receiver.
One of the young receivers, Quinn Early, and they're working over there on Dwayne Harper, a rookie 11th round draft choice who is starting because of injuries to Patrick Hunter today. That was Miller, Anthony Miller, actually, rather than Early. And Anthony Miller, a flyer, #1 pick, who is going to be a force in this league if he continues the kind of growth that he's had early in this season.
Early to the left, Miller to the right. 3rd and 10. Whistle blew. There was a flag back in the secondary. Perhaps it was the umpire that discovered
delay,
something.
offense, still 3rd down.
Jim Tunney tells us delay of game. Meanwhile, in other games that are getting underway a bit late, the 49ers with the lead. Well, that looks like a baseball score, 3-2 Dallas. And the Rams have an early lead over the Raiders in the Battle of Los Angeles.
So far in this ball game, this San Diego offense has not been able to get much going.
Lionel James, number 26, is now in the backfield. He's going out in the pass pattern. Oh, wide open. That was Darren Flutie, finally tackled by Melvin Jenkins. A 29-yard gain.
Responding to the bell as Laufenberg, who has a fine touch on those deep passes, finds Flutie in between the zones, and watch him just loft that ball. The Babe gets it down to Darren Flutie, and he's gotten that's Melvin Jenkins, 24, that have been beaten on the play. This whole system, nickel system, had to be revamped because of the injuries. Al Saunders is right. Flutie does make things happen.
There was a fake, and then Laufenberg, he must have lost his grip on the ball that he wanted to get to Quinn Early, the rookie from the University of Iowa.
Laufenberg getting a little bit of time. I mentioned David Richards, rookie right tackle out of UCLA, getting a start today, and they're over on the other side of that most difficult left tackle position, John Clay, who came in that controversial Lachey trade, getting his first start, and that is not a comfortable position for him. We're going to keep an eye on him, see how he does today.
2nd down 10, 31-yard line of Seattle. Pretty good protection. That, for all intents and purposes, was thrown away. He wanted to hit Bernstein on that, but really didn't have a chance.
Jacob Green is off to his best start in his 9 seasons of professional football. But on this particular play, David Richards, number 65, does exactly what he wants to do. Pushes Green beyond the pocket and protects his quarterback. Fine play by the rookie.
A moment ago, Merlin, you pointed out how important the left tackle spot was on that offensive line. Why?
It's so important because it's the blind side of most quarterbacks, and also most teams now will put their best rushing end on that side.
This is a 3rd and 10 for the Chargers, who lead 7-0. And this is headed for Flutie. No, just plain overthrown. He had about a step. Terry Taylor was helping out. He had about a step also on the free safety, Eugene Robinson. Tell us about Terry Taylor.
Terry Taylor had been suspended, along with many others, for a drug test. He contested the test. They told him there was no appeal process, but then when Richard Dent was able to successfully appeal, he appealed his. He's passed his subsequent tests and is being allowed to play today.
A 48-yard attempt by Abbott out of a hold by Musyenko. Will it get there? It is good. Whoa, and just like that, the Chargers, who have had difficulty getting in close, lead 10-0. Would you believe it?
Today's game is brought to you by Mazda and the exciting new Mazda cars and trucks for 1989. By Pennzoil, the motor oil that gives you world-class protection. And by Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
As our folks here at Jack Murphy Stadium relax in the brilliant sunshine, Abbott's kick will be fielded. A short kick at the 10. This is Bobby Joe Edmonds, hurling himself across the 30-yard line.
So important for this Charger team to get a winning game early in this season. They got off to a fast start today, and so far they've been blessed by an outstanding performance by their defense. They were riddled last week against Denver, but that defensive team has played well today out of a 4-3 alignment, and they've gotten 2 interceptions and a sack. They have been able to, even though they've given up yardage, have been able to hold in critical times and take the football away from Craig and the Seattle offense.
Abbott, by the way, with that field goal, is 4 for 4 in field goals this season. Largent is in motion. And he's going for Butler. No catch.
Gil Byrd, number 22, who's already had an interception on the day. The man who got there later and was physical enough to get Butler by the shoulders. This is a beautiful play-action bomb. And this is something that Seattle does very well. Watch the touch on this play, but there's Byrd closing quickly, and look how he just strips the arms apart. Is Largent unhappy about that? Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, it was in Butler's hands for a short time.
2nd down 10 from the 31 of Seattle. And there goes. I've felt that Warner gallops more than runs. It's an unusual running style.
He has an unusual kind of a bouncing style. He'll jump, too. He'll absolutely get into the line and jump from one side to the other. I think he's the most explosive back in that 2 or 3 yard area right at the line of scrimmage that I've seen in a long, long time.
The gain, a little better than 5 yards. 2nd down and a short 5. Warner has carried 10 times for 26 yards.
Not a great average on the day.
This will be out of the shotgun on a 3rd down. Williams almost got there. And Lee Williams used his talents to force Craig to misfire. And the Chargers are very definitely, I think, even from this great distance, Merlin, playing with great emotion, great intensity.
Indeed, playing with emotion. Williams is their best sacker, 99, top of your page, working on 75, Mike Wilson, and just uses his burst of speed to get by Mike Wilson and put Craig on the ground. And they really have taken the impetus away from Seattle's offense here in this going.
Ruben Rodriguez, who has punted exceedingly well, almost 47 yards per punt, to Lionel James. Pretty good hang time at the 30. The ever dangerous Lionel James, 5th year out of Auburn. You'll be surprised if you just joined us. The Chargers are leading the Seahawks 10-0 early in the second quarter. The Chargers, thanks to their defense, after a punt, have it at their own 39-yard line, 1st and 10. Is early in motion. Only about a yard for Gary Anderson.
They say that speed kills, Ray.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, if you're a defensive coordinator, I talked to Tom Catlin. I said, what do you worry about with these Chargers? And this is what he talked about. 3 young receivers that can fly. And the operable word there is best 40-yard dash times, because I doubt if they can do it every day in football uniforms. They probably had track cleats on for those times, but they still will scare you, particularly when you have as many injuries as Seattle does in that secondary.
2nd down 9.
Here's the bomb.
Laufenberg has some room. He is short of a 1st down by about 3 yards at his own 47.
Jerry Rome came here this year from Washington and brought with him Joe Gibbs' single back offense. There he is, center your screen, flanked on the right-hand side by Charlie Joyner, the great receiver. But Rome came here basically with the idea of putting in an offense that would go deep. That's a radical change. The team here had basically been dominated by Fouts' short passing game, and as his arm lost its range, they were doing everything in that 30-yard range. Laufenberg, with a powerful arm, can reach those deep receivers and that speed, and that's what they have in mind.
3rd down and 3. That was Flutie in motion. The crowd wants a flag, and the crowd gets a flag. Terry Taylor was the defender.
Excuse me, Ray, the officials are allowing more contact, but basically, if that contact changes the direction of the receiver, they're going to throw the flag. That was number 20.
Defense, number 20, 1st down.
Terry Taylor is the man who will interfere. Now watch as he comes up and puts the hand into the back right there. You see him? He moved the receiver. Now if he had just put the hand there and had not moved the receiver, there would have been no flag. Jacob Green is the man coming on the outside, working on David Richards, and again, well, that's actually McKnight. Green had slipped into the gap inside between the guard and the tackle, and McKnight doing a good job. Green not getting pressure on the quarterback.
At the 48 of Seattle, thanks to the penalty 1st down. This is going to be almost intercepted, intended for early. It was played defensively by the strong safety Moyer and the cornerback Melvin Jenkins.
Defending for Seattle, number 21, Paul Moyer. Number 20.
One of those young speedsters, Quinn Early. You'll see Moyer 21 with a good chance at the interception there, playing a good center fielder's position as he got in there and knocked that ball away. Moyer, a tough football player, good football sense.
To show you sometimes statistics mean nothing, Laufenberg has only completed 1 pass out of 6 attempts, but his team, the Chargers, are leading Seattle 10-0.
Draw.
There's James for 5 yards.
And on the line,
Scores around the league. Atlanta is leading 49ers.
Another baseball score.
Yeah, that's right.
Rams off to a jump up in Los Angeles at home against actually at the Raiders' home.
Yep. Well, let's see what Laufenberg and company can come up with here on 3rd down and about 6.
They have had real trouble on 3rd down conversions through the year.
9:38 to play, 1st half, 10-0. Chargers leading. Short on statistics, but still leading.
Very close.
Very, very close.
I think it's short, though. I think they're going to mark it short.
Earlier, I wanted to ask you about Bosworth, who made that tackle. What do you think of the Boss?
I think he's a good football player. If he gets to be as good a football player as he thinks he is really going to be something. But he has really improved in his performance. Number 55, center your screen, will make this play. And part of what he has learned to do is to diagnose effectively. Sees the draw here and gets up in time to shut it down. Going to be 4th and about half a yard to go. Chargers Are they going to kick it away or are they going to go for it? Let's see here. Looks like they're going to go for it. Yes, they are.
The crowd loves it at this moment.
At this moment.
We'll wait and see what they think about it when the play is ended.
Saunders willing to gamble. I don't blame him.
All right, Big Spencer is the up back. But that is a first down. That is a first down, and leading the way was Spencer.
Curtis Adams, number 42, the ball carrier, will come in on that right-hand side. They're running a Jacob Green, who's a bit undersized as a defensive end. And, of course, he's working against a 300-pound tackle, and David Richards. They're able to take advantage of the physical mismatch there and find enough room for the first down.
Anthony Miller wide left. Quinn Early wide right. First and 10, 36-yard line of Seattle. And that's Bernstein, the H-back, who was in motion. Almost intercepted, then almost caught. Eugene Robinson almost had the interception, and Anthony Miller almost had it off his hands.
Babe Laufenberg has been around for a while, but he has not had nearly as many games on the field as Eugene Robinson has. Laufenberg tends to lock in on a single receiver, as he did there, telegraph his pass, and as a result, those defensive backs are sitting there waiting for him. Almost an interception by Eugene Robinson.
It is now second down and 10. 1 of 7 for the Babe. 5 consecutive. It would not. This is Gary Anderson.
Ooh. Oh, you can hear that one all the way up here.
The former Stanford star, David Wyman, made the hit there. It's going to be third down, about 7 away from a first down.
We talked about Bosworth, but Wyman, who also plays inside, you can hear the kind of football he plays. Boy, he really put a shot on Gary Anderson on that play.
Now, where will the Chargers attack as they lead 10-0 at the midway point of the second quarter? Miller again goes left. Early to the right. Flutie in motion. Severs is now the tight end. Oh! What a time for the blitz by the free safety Eugene Robinson and also Vernon Dean.
Robinson blew right by Don Masick, the center, as he just rips inside. Laufenberg had Robinson on him before he could take 2 or 3 steps backwards. No chance whatsoever. As you watch it from the end zone, look how quickly he's inside. Masick has got to get out and get a piece of him. Could not do it as they double team in there to get him down.
So Mosienko punts. Tremendous punt for distance, but it'll be an automatic touchback. And so with 7:07 to play in the second quarter, we have a score here that surprises an awful lot of people. Chargers 10, Seahawks nothing. San Diego with the 10-0 lead. Seahawks possession, 7:05 to play first half. Dave Craig and company from the Seahawk 20-yard line. Williams the fullback, Warner the tailback. Chargers showing blitz, but they didn't. Warner. Good gain for Kurt Warner out across the 25, where Gary Plummer makes the stop.
Kurt Warner so quick as he breaks up inside. Little misdirection play again as they pull both guard and tackle to lead Warner up through the hole. Watch the quickness of the cuts, the crispness inside. Warner getting extra yardage after he was hit initially.
Gain of 7, second down 3. Largent in motion. Warner again. Close to a first down. I always like to watch that 1 foot of that the linesman to see where they're going to really mark it.
Well, it's a guessing game, too.
I know.
In a game where everything is so exacting and that chain only goes so far, they're saying, well, was he here? Was he there? And, you know, it is, the foot is where it goes down, but it's the forward foot. I mean, it's not either foot. It is the forward foot.
Short yardage defense. I'm still in shock over that Jets-Houston score.
So is Houston.
And the Vikings. Now, forward progress as marked by the officials is all important.
Very, very close to a first down.
They were using Tommy Agee in motion.
On the stop, number 25, Vincent Glenn.
You can hear good football. We're just going to let you listen to these collisions. Head to head, just barely a first down, but boy, did you hear those helmets bang together? San Diego defense playing a four-man line continually. We mentioned part of that because of the injuries to linebackers, but also because they want to control the running game. And they're making it tough on Seattle to run today.
On first down. Now that's Largent's second catch of the day. And he is very, very close to yet another NFL record.
Owns so many of the records in the NFL. But this man is just an artist. One of the things he likes to do is to look into the eyes of a defensive back and get the defensive back to look at him. And I said, why do you do that? He said, well, if they're looking at my eyes, they can't see my feet. And they don't know where I'm going to go.
1st and 10 as a result of the Largent catch from Craig at the Seattle 40. 4:40 to play first half. 10-0 Chargers. Warner.
Oh, what great acceleration.
Picks up about 5. The records that Largent is approaching, the one he might get today, I would say, would be most yards. He only needed 51. You saw Charlie Joyner a little while ago.
That record updated, by the way. Largent closer than
19
51,
yards away.
Just 19 yards from that. One nice big catch would put him past Charlie Joyner. And I think Charlie would enjoy being here to see that. Charlie's such a gentleman. So many great years in the NFL.
2nd down 5, 45-yard line of Seattle. There's Largent. Now, let's see. That puts him over the top right there. That catch. That move. Oh,
almost exactly 19. Let's see how they officially score it. It is 19. That's exactly what he needed.
Isn't that amazing?
By the record. And he answers, and there is Charlie Joyner. I don't think he knows yet how close Largent is, and the fact that he may have gone over Joyner's record. Watch Largent's eyes and his feet, but look at him. He looks right into the eyes of Elvis Patterson and gets Patterson to turn. And that is the secret of Largent's ability. He makes those defensive backs do things they don't want to do.
At the 36 of the Chargers. Little delay. Williams. Spin.
Great play.
What a move. Well, he didn't move the pile that time, as you described, but he sure moved a defender.
Well, he did at the end as Vincent Glenn came up, as he nailed Glenn. Body control, so important. John L. Williams has excellent quickness, but he also has the ability to keep his balance when he's hit. Watch it here. Fawcett, but you can't wrap him up that way. Now watch him. He likes to run over people. He's just going to go right over Vincent Glenn, number 25. Warner on the day is 13 for 40 yards. Williams, 5 runs, 42 yards. Good average on the day.
First down, 26-yard line of the Chargers. 3 minutes left in the half. Then the Chargers with a lead of 10-0. Warner finds a little crease down to about the 21-yard line. I can't help but point out, Merlin, although that was a running play there, that when we were talking about Steve Largent and we showed the picture of Charlie Joyner, next to him Jerry Rome, that Largent says without Rome, nothing would have happened.
Without Rome, these records would never have been set. There is Rome in the center, Joyner on the right. You see Rome, who's concerned about his offense, and there are Largent's NFL records. Receptions, consecutive games with a reception. That streak alive here today. 1,000-yard seasons, 8 of them. Boy, I tell you, he just continues to impress us.
Now, coming out limping an instant ago was Les Miller of that important front line defenders of the Chargers.
Miller is maybe just, looks like they're checking his shoulder pads. Maybe popped something away. Right now, the concern for Seattle is even though they've moved the ball well, they look up to that scoreboard, and you said it early, statistics can lie. The important thing, they got to get some points on the board. San Diego had 10-0.
There is a replay of Largent as he broke the record right there. Second down, 5, 21-yard line of the Chargers. Williams couldn't quite hold on to the ball, managed to retain control, but lost a yard. And now Mike Charles made a good defensive play. Number 71 for the Chargers, but meanwhile, perhaps the most important third down of this first half.
Charles working inside over the center. They're trying to cover Blair Bush constantly inside. You'll see Charles show up in your picture. They're lucky not to have fumbled. Good play by Charles, who's playing tackle rather than nose tackle here today.
We're all advised that just 2 minutes remain in the first half, and we'll return right after this.
Freak in the NFL right at this moment. You just got to find a way to win. And when we talked to Al Saunders yesterday, he said, I don't care how we do it. We have got to have a victory. We've got to start thinking win. He doesn't care about the stats. He doesn't really care how they win this game. He just needs to get a victory. These guys have been getting questions in the supermarket, everywhere they go. What's wrong with the Chargers? What's wrong with the Chargers? Right now, they've got to start thinking win, and they can do that if they can win here today.
Merlin, I'm going to take you back to your playing days. How much of an edge would it be for a Charger today to have this kind of vocal support at home versus playing this game away from home?
Well, this is not a field where you get a great deal of home field advantage, especially when the crowd is out of the game, but they're into the game today. I say no home field advantage or no great home field advantage because the weather is usually great here at San Diego. You don't have the heat or the wind, and you don't have the noise of a dome, but it's always better, Ray, to play at home, and you know that. Teams perform better with their own crowd.
So the kickoff. Good speed. Could not quite get to the outside.
Anthony Miller takes the kick on the 2-yard line.
Two young rookies who've looked good on the special teams. This was one of them, 92, Darren Miller. 91, Darren Miller, right in front of your screen there. Whoops, 92 Miller, I take it back. Porter is the other one. Well, that was 91, Darren Miller. I had it right the first time. I had it right the first time, right?
All right, 1st and 10, Chargers, their own 20. Only 1:46 to play in the half. 10-3 Chargers. Gary Anderson. Here's the couldn't cut back. Because waiting for him was Alonzo Mitz, number 61.
Stop by number 61, Alonzo Mitz.
Update, NFL. Look at that Atlanta score. And the Rams with a 10-0 edge. No change since the last time we looked at the Giants leading 5-3 over Dallas.
A day of shockers in the NFL.
Boy, there always seems to be 1 or 2 days like that each year when you say to yourself over and over again, I don't believe it, I don't believe it. second down, 8. Anderson to the 32.
One of the knocks so far in the season has been that this San Diego offensive line has not been able to find room, but that's not a bad block by 76, Broderick Thompson, left guard, as he gave Anderson a chance. The other difficulty they've had with this offense that Jerry Rome brought in with him, they don't have that big Riggins-type back, that big, strong back that can stay back there and pick you up on a block, that can also carry that ball up inside. Gary Anderson is an explosive back, but he's basically a third down back, and he likes to run outside or bounce outside. He doesn't like to run up inside.
We're in the midst of a Seattle Seahawks timeout. Here's a reminder to our viewers. We'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game.
Ray, there's a little irony in Jerry Rome's coming here with Joe Gibbs' offense, because it was Gibbs leaving here as the offensive coordinator for Don Coryell, going to Washington as the head coach, trying to install San Diego's system. It didn't fit, and he changed it, modified it to the system he has today. Rome brings that system back to San Diego and may have to modify it because of the lack of a power back here. So far, he hasn't done that.
Chargers have been able to convert only 1 third down. They're 3rd and 3 at their own 32. And there's another one. This one is complete to Flutie, and a flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Jim Tunney will tell us. Against the defense. Incidentally, I've been very remiss in not identifying the remaining members other than the referee of our officiating crew. The umpire is Hendy Ansich. Ernie France, the head linesman. Howard Rowe, the line judge.
Defense, number 78 is declined. Result of the play, first down.
Tom Sifferman, the back judge. The side judge is Nate Jones. Pat Millett, the field judge. And Bill Fetty is our replay official today.
They've made the replay official a regular member of that team, and I think that's a positive way to approach the replay system.
Very definitely. First down, Chargers are on 40. Less than a minute to play in the half. Pickup of 7.
You hear a few boos. Yes. Laufenberg has been pressured so much in the first few games of this season, and also some in the early preseason, that he has been a little bit skitterish and tends not to stay as long in that pocket as they would like him to stay. The feeling there was that if he had waited a little bit longer, might have found a receiver open downfield.
What type of a quarterback would you describe of Babe Laufenberg?
Well, when they went looking, they realized that they needed to rebuild this offensive line. They realized they were not going to have as much time as they needed for a quarterback, so they said, we've got to get somebody who's big enough to take a pounding and who can run. And run is a key word here, who is mobile, and someone with a big arm, someone who can get that ball downfield. Laufenberg, who's had an interesting career to say the least, cut 6 times by 4 different teams, tried out by his own words at about 10 other NFL teams. He has bounced all over, but he's still a rookie in terms of time played.
So he obviously doesn't give up easily.
He doesn't. No, he's determined. And I'll tell you, you got to like the kid. He is a leader. They love him here in San Diego, but they need him to win football games. If he really wants to be loved, he better win some football games.
Second down, 3. Charger 47, 44 seconds remaining in the half. 10-3, Chargers lead the Seahawks. That looks like one of the Seahawks might be lined up offside, Jacob Green, or close to it. Oh, that could have been picked off. He wanted to hit Anthony Miller, and we have another flag down this at the line of scrimmage.
I think we had an offensive lineman downfield, right?
Yep, that's the signal. You noticed it, Merlin. Second down, 3. The games of the Olympiad this evening: swimming, men's springboard diving, men's volleyball, USA versus Netherlands in that one, and women's basketball, where they're heavily favored.
Excitement of the Olympics. Luganis will be on board tonight. My partner Dick Enberg,
number 62,
so busy over there.
Legally, 10 yards, still second down.
The stories that'll be told when your longtime colleagues return from Seoul.
I hope they don't bring me any kimchi.
Tell me about what's that?
Oh, well, that's that marinated cabbage that
really?
you know when they bring it to you. You can smell it when they're about a mile away.
I'll tell you, I'm anxious. I didn't know. I'm delighted I didn't know.
We'll bring you some.
The penalty forces the Chargers into a 2nd and 13 now at the Charger 37 with 39 seconds remaining in the half. 3 wide receivers. Lionel James was peeking before he had control of the ball.
So eager to make the big play. Little Train gets his hands on the football, and you don't like to see him get that ball in space, because when he's out there all by himself, he is extremely dangerous. But he just took his eyes off it briefly to clear downfield. You can't do that. Doesn't matter what level you're playing football. Pop Warner football, high school, college, professional. You look away before you control that football, you're going to drop it.
3rd down and 13.
3rd down conversions have been difficult.
Oh, boy. They're in what would amount to a super prevent defense, the Seahawks. Now, what do we have this time? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Well, start. Number 77. 3rd down.
I saw 8 defenders backpedaling that time.
Well, they're not going to give you that deep one. That's number 77, John Clay. And his natural position, he played it at Missouri, is right tackle. He's had to change his stance to a left-handed stance to move over to that left-hand side. Real pressure on him. Came here in that trade for Lachey, and everyone expected him to produce instantly. And that's tough. And they also pretty well bad-rapped him when he got here. Said he's not strong, can't play. The only people happy to see him were the Domino's Pizza people here. Well, he's getting a chance to play. Hasn't done badly so far in this game.
Jim Tunney wanted to clarify something. The referee. We are certain it's 3rd and 18, and the 32 seconds remain in the half. 4 defenders are almost 20 yards deep. Good for about 15 yards to Quinn Early, the rookie from Iowa, and the Boss made the tackle.
Early, well short of the 1st down. The Chargers are keeping a tight end on the outside over there to make it a little more difficult to attack Clay. You can see Sievers over there. He just gets a little bump on Jeff Bryant. No, that's not Jeff Bryant. That's 57, Tony Woods, who gets down in that outside rushing lineman position to fly in on that particular play.
Mosienko will be punting. You'll note he has an excellent.
He really has a powerful leg. Left-footed kicker.
And that creates a little bit of a problem because the rotation is different than the ball. Oh, boy. What a kick. Bobby Joe Edmonds at the 5-yard line. To the 18 with the clock showing 14 seconds left in the half. 50-yard punt, 13-yard return.
Actually sacrificed about a half a yard or a yard on that play. That ball definitely would have gone into the end line. But Seattle, the kind of team that looks for big plays on special teams in particular. And they were hoping to get the good run back on that very long kick by Mosienko.
Brian Blades, the rookie out of Miami of Florida, is in the game, but it would appear by the formation that the Seahawks are strictly going to try and get the last 14 seconds off the clock. Yep.
Knox is not going to take a chance on a turnover here.
And so the final seconds tick away in the 1st half. The scoreboard reads Chargers 10, Seahawks 3. The statistics would not indicate it, but that's the score, we guarantee you.
It doesn't matter how you get those points on the board, and the Chargers got them on by blocking a pass and carrying it into the end zone. They got a field goal later, and they've made it very difficult for Seattle to convert offensively.
So it promises to be, at the very least, a very fascinating second half. Repeating the score, 10-3 Chargers.
One
Berman with Paul McGuire at halftime. Defense, the name of this game. No offensive touchdowns yet. Of course, a bit of history with San Diego leading Seattle 10-3 at halftime. Steve Largent today, when he caught that pass going over 12,000 yards. Now he totals 12,148. He's #1 all time, breaking Charlie Joyner's record. That means he has caught passes with men guarding him for a distance of over 7 miles in his career. We can't even walk that long.
They can play catch all day, but you're looking at Seattle. Here's a classic example, and it's happened in the San Francisco-Atlanta game this afternoon, of a team that has not been playing well all year long, or the first couple of games of the year, and they're taking them lightly. Seattle's a better football team than this.
All right, well, San Diego in the lead thus far. It's been a day of upsets and surprises. Atlanta over San Francisco, 21-3 at halftime. Chris Miller on a naked bootleg just took it in at the quarterback for Atlanta to give them that surprising lead at Candlestick. The Giants leading Dallas in a defensive struggle, 5-3. That game's in the second quarter. The Rams over the Raiders, 10-3. Halftime, that is the Battle of Los Angeles, with the Rams leading thus far at the Coliseum. The Jets, huge over Houston, 45-3. The Jets now beating Cleveland and Houston, big back-to-back. Ken O'Brien, a huge day for him. 3 touchdown passes. Wesley Walker had 3 touchdown catches. Mark Gastineau even had 2 sacks. And that was a big one. O'Brien and Walker 50 yards on that play. Kansas City beating Denver, 20-13. The final there. Elway continues to struggle with the Chiefs. This was a big play. Steve DeBerg against his old teammates. 14 yards to Paul Palmer. That was the winning score. Made it 17-10 at the time. They went on to win it 20-13, Kansas City over Denver. Cincinnati is now 3-0 as Boomer beat Bubby Brister. 17-12 was the final on that one. Boomer Esiason leads the National Football League in touchdown throws. He has 9 of them. This one, 65 yards to Eddie Brown. 17-12, Cincinnati over Pittsburgh this afternoon. The Buffalo Bills now go to 3-0. A late field goal, they beat New England. Final score of 16-14. And here is that field goal. Scott Norwood, his number tells you the time left. 11 seconds, goes 41 yards. Norwood connects. Buffalo can't score for beans, but they're 3-0 now. 16-14. Defense, the name of the game in Buffalo so far. Miami beating Green Bay. Miami winning its first, 24-17 the score there. Washington over Philadelphia, final of 17-10. Minnesota beat Chicago. Jim McMahon, a bruised knee, 31-7 the final there. New Orleans beat Detroit 22-14 at the Silverdome. Phoenix has its first Arizona win, 30-24 the score in that game. And an absolutely wild play, the play that Lars Tate for Tampa Bay. He's down, right? Wrong. He landed on a teammate. Didn't hit the ground. Got up and ran. They should have drawn it up that way. What a play. 47 yards for the rookie, Lars Tate. What a play. Put it in the playbook. And one baseball score for you. Boston beat the Yankees 9-4. That's 3 straight for the Red Sox over the Yankees. New York drops to 6.5 games back. For Paul McGuire, Len Berman, more NFL Live halftime activities coming up after these words from your local station. And as halftime continues on NFL Live, Pete Rozelle was elected NFL Commissioner in 1960. He was a compromise choice on the 23rd ballot. Since he's been on the job, the United States has had 8 different presidents. But unlike running the country, running the NFL has remained a one-man show. Our Frank DeFord recently spent some time with the commissioner.
You're chosen by the owners, paid by the owners, and so the players and a great many other people always say, he's not really the commissioner of football, he's just a commissioner for the owners. Do you think of yourself as that?
I can understand why players would say that, but I think that some of them realize that that's not the way I've operated. I don't feel obligated to the owners. I could quit at any time. Main thing is seeing that you're fair. And in grievances, as an example, between owners and their employees, I think you look at the track record there, they'd see that the employees, if they had a valid contract, come out way ahead each time I have to hear them.
You got the job as commissioner because you were so popular. Everybody liked Pete Rozelle, but through the years you've been called an awful lot of names, even on the stand. Have you gotten thick-skinned?
I think thicker than when I became commissioner. But I'm like everyone else, sensitive to criticism. But I just, in my own mind, I realize it's I guess we're lucky people are that interested in football. They'll delve very deeply into our drug policy, on our player trading policy, union management problems, and they do it because there's so much interest in the NFL. So I try to tell myself, well, you're just lucky they care that much, even though I might be criticized in the process.
What was the hardest decision you ever had to make as commissioner?
I guess it was probably Kennedy Sunday. And I'd gone to school with the President Kennedy's press secretary, Pierre Salinger. And I asked Pierre what he thought. And Pierre said, well, under the circumstances, I think that you should play, Pete. And I don't say that was a determining factor, but that was one of the things that convinced me. And the criticism was very, very personal. I felt it. And it was probably the toughest decision I made, and probably it was an improper decision. It might have been better if we'd somehow scrambled the schedule and played all those games later. But that was the toughest one.
This is an old stunt. I'm going to give you a name. Just answer it with whatever pops into your mind, okay? Al Davis.
Great. Very, very competitive. One of the better egos in the league. Great desire to win. And thinks only of his football team, as some other owners do. But great desire to win, very competitive.
All right, Pete, why the Super Bowl is always so rotten?
I can only assume that tremendous pressure that's generated would affect one team for some reason more than the other, and you don't get quite as close a game. But the hype is fantastic. The being on the site for a week, it all builds up the fans, and just apparently one team is affected, as I say, more than the other.
That was an interesting pregnant pause when he was thinking about Al Davis for a moment, his arch rival. We'll continue with more NFL Live from New York in just a minute.
Halftime at San Diego. The Chargers have a lead of 10-3, and Merlin, I did not expect this kind of a first half.
Well, I think everyone expected that San Diego would have trouble today. They have had some trouble, but what they have been able to do is to come up with the turnovers. They have a pair of those. They got 7 points out of one of those turnovers, and they've made some big plays defensively. They have been able to shut down Seattle's offense at some critical times. Seattle has been getting a lot of yardage, but so far they have not been getting into that end zone, and that is the critical thing. Let's look at those statistics, Ray, because I think, again, you said it earlier, statistics can lie, and Seattle is dominant in the statistics. You look at turnover time, yardage rushing, yardage passing, but look at the turnover table. 2 big turnovers by the Seahawks offense, both interceptions. One of them is knocked in for 7 points. The other one shuts down a drive. Let's go back and look at that touchdown play for San Diego.
Craig dropping back. He had had great success to this point. And then
Tyrone Keys bats the ball. The next thing you know, it's Keith Browner, 6'6", 266 pounds, a lineman that converted to linebacker because of the injury problems here, and he celebrates his first NFL touchdown.
And then the big story today, other than the score and the outcome of the game, an individual item. The man by the name of Steve Largent.
Largent continues his assault on NFL records. The yardage record held by Charlie Joyner, who played here in San Diego, knocked down by Steve Largent as he adds that football and that record to his trophy case, which is going to have to be a big one, I'll tell you that.
And I don't know whether we have enough space just to show his records that he holds now.
He is rewriting the record book. What a gentleman. One of the nicest people in the NFL, and one of those people you enjoy seeing do well.
And it was very interesting. The first of his teammates to shake hands with him might be a young man who could go on to be a great receiver when Brian Blades, the youngster, the rookie, came up and said, in effect, congratulations, my friend.
Sure did. You know what's interesting about that relationship between Largent and Blades? Largent requested that Blades have a locker next to his. And he said, I would like to be able to help him as he begins to develop in the NFL. I don't think there'd be a better teacher than Steve Largent. And if Blades can learn to fool defensive backs the way Largent has, then he's going to be around for a long, long time.
And it might be highly predictable, but I don't know Largent nearly as well as you do, but I'm sure that if this game were to end with the Chargers winning, I would have to believe that the first thing Largent would say was, but we lost.
Of course, he's very, very team-oriented. And I would think that there is large concern, real concern on that sideline. I know Chuck Knox had a chance to play for him for a number of years in Los Angeles. I'm sure he was upset in the locker room. You don't want to give away all of those opportunities. And when you're controlling the football and controlling yardage, you've got to punch it into the end zone.
You played for Chuck Knox. How would you describe him?
He's a gut-level coach. He really is a player's coach. And I think one of the things that has allowed him to turn around the franchise in Los Angeles, to go to Buffalo, turn that franchise around, to do such an outstanding job in Seattle, he is one of the finest communicators that I've ever met. And he's a gut-level communicator. He's not an ego kind of guy. He looks you right in the eye and talks to you.
I know I first met Chuck back in his high school coaching days in Western Pennsylvania. And as I have seen him from time to time through the years, at games, before games, away from games in the off-season, he's never really changed. But meanwhile, back to the game. And this kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. So Johnson kicks. And at the 5-yard line, 10, 15, little bit of a crease there. A little bit of a crease for Anthony Miller.
Chargers need to improve offensively. Look at what they have done on third downs on the season. The short ones, the 1 to 4 yard type of third downs, they've done 5 of 10. They've hit 5 of 10, but over 5 yards, they have yet to convert on a third down. Now, those are the kind of stats that'll drive you crazy. That's one of the things they need to get better consistency offensively.
Miller left, Early right, Bernstein in motion, the H-back. Well overthrown, intended for Early. Jenkins was coming up, and by golly, the crowd is voicing its collective displeasure.
Well, they've really ridden this team hard, and they should be happy about the score. I'm sure they're happy about the score, but they realize, I think, that lead is short-lived unless this offense can take a hold of things and begin to move the football.
We saw Grim Al Saunders looking on as his Chargers are faced with a 2nd and 10 at their 25. There goes Anderson, good speed, but he was caught up with by David Wyman.
We talked about the speed inside of David Wyman and the team speed of this Seattle defense, which is improved this year. Wyman simply runs to the outside and is able to corral a very quick back. Watch it. You'll see that little draw play here. Wyman will appear 92 from the inside right-hand side of your screen. You can see Anderson, who has excellent breakaway speed, being pulled down. That's a good quick move by the linebacker.
And here's that bugaboo, 3rd down, 3rd and 5 in this instant. Lionel James is in, the mighty Mike. He's in the pattern. Flag is thrown. Loffenberg is very close to a 1st down. They say the flag was thrown before that play really developed, and Loffenberg is marked as short of the 1st down.
If it is movement along the offensive line, then that is before the play is started, and they'll take it back. There won't be any choice on whether to accept the penalty or not.
And there were 2 flags thrown, one on the far side, one on the near side. Jim Tunney will sort it out for us after conferring with one of his fellow officials. Here's Jim.
Offside, defense, number 79, lined up in the neutral zone. 5 yards, makes it a 1st down.
Jacob Green is identified as the culprit.
Defensive linemen like to sneak up on that line of scrimmage, and that's what happened to Jacob Green. Here's Anthony Miller. As you watch him on this play, he's saying, hey, I can get deep. I can go on this. He could see the quarterback had plenty of time. Said, whip it out here. Let me run to it with my speed and run it down.
Well, that's one way to get the 1st down on a penalty on 3rd down. Anderson, and a flag comes goes down on this play after he picks up about 4 or so, and Brian Bosworth
Pickup of 4 yards.
makes the tackle. Let's see what we have this time.
In an area where holding is usually called, and it looks like it will go against the Chargers.
The free safety, Eugene Robinson, for Seattle, signaled that it's against.
Holding, number 62. Still first down.
Well, the veteran, that center who anchors that line, Don Masick, is the guilty party, and there,
Healthy young man, Billy Ray Smith, looks healthy, but if you could get a close look at his calf, has had an injury that has kept him out of uniform, and that is a real blow to this team. His leadership and his on-field performance critical to his team. They're anxious to get him back into uniform.
the penalty sets up a 1st and 20 as Bernstein goes in motion. Laufenberg ad-libbing, hopefully. No, says the official. No to Gary Anderson's attempt to stay in bounds. That was almost a very spectacular catch. That would have been legal.
The mobility there of Laufenberg apparent, although he has not shown the ability to throw the ball deep on the run to his right. From the pocket, he really can rocket the football, but does not seem to have or has not demonstrated a very strong throwing arm when he is on the move to his right.
Darren Flutie, number 89, checked in, the rookie out of Boston College, of the family. That includes Doug.
So far, not nearly the kind of pressure we anticipated by Seattle on Laufenberg.
This is complete to Flutie. And he picks up 15 to set up a 3rd down and 5 before he's corralled by the 2 safeties, Moyer and Robinson.
Flutie has shown the ability to get open in the zones. He's a smart football player, understands the system well. Laufenberg doing what he needs to do, which is to find that open receiver and get him the football. Flutie picked up about 7 yards after he caught that football. And again, one of those critical 3rd down situations.
It's 3rd and 5 at the Charger 40. We're early in the 3rd quarter, and the Chargers lead the Seahawks 10-3. A 3rd down conversion by 2 yards with the pass complete to Anthony Miller, one of the speedsters. He's dropped by a rookie, Dwayne Harper.
What a fine young man. I had a chance to visit with him before the game. Soft-spoken, really wants to help this team, and the kind of speed he has forces those defensive backs to lay off. Right there, you see what that'll do for you. You get a little extra room as he works on Darren Harper, the rookie. There's that young receiver core we talked about, the ages 24, 23, 23, and 21. 6 passes by Holland, the entire complement coming into this season for this whole receiver core.
A 1st and 10 at the 47-yard line. The fake was to Anderson. Oh, this is Moyer, the strong safety. Now that appeared to be a catchable ball.
Right through the arms of number 87, Quinn Early. And young players will make big plays for you. But occasionally, those big plays are mistakes that take the football back the other way. First turnover for the Seattle Seahawks. Watch it as Laufenberg does everything he needs to do, finds the open receiver, gets him the football. But right through his hands and into the arms of Paul Moyer, who carries it back upfield for the Seahawks.
The Charger defense needs a big play. Little delay, and Warner. And certainly played Warner very tough in that little delay. And Mike Charles, number 71, did well.
Charles has played well inside. Right now, Ron Lynn, who coordinates this San Diego defense, is thinking we can't allow the emotion to turn. Turnover like that gets everybody pumped on the Seattle sideline, and the pressure is really on right now for this San Diego defense. Inside, number 71, Charles, running around the block by Bush, will come from the backside to make the tackle on Warner.
Randall Morris, number 43, replaces a slightly limping Kurt Warner. 2nd down 9. Intercepted. And this is Keith Browner, who scored a touchdown on an interception earlier. So Craig, who came into the game with no interceptions, has had 3 picked off already today.
If you want to break down Dave Craig, you've got to get pressure up the middle. And in order to do that, you need to break somebody loose. Watch 71, Charles. It's a stunt to the inside, and he is there to force the bad pass from Craig. Now, to the outside, Browner, who has already scored a touchdown, is in the perfect position to reach up and use that 6'6" height to pull down his second interception of the day. And there is the big play this defense needed.
So 1st and 10, 48-yard line of the Chargers, and Anderson picks up about 4 before Bosworth is able to corral him.
Now, Ray, let's finish the sequence. And now, what San Diego's offense needs to do, if they're going to get control of this game, is to begin to run the football, to begin to move those chains down the field. They have not been able to do that so far in this ballgame. They still have not overcome their weaknesses that they've shown earlier in the season.
Wide to the left goes Anthony Miller. Out to the right is Quinn Early. 2 of those speedsters. Little delay, and there goes Anderson. I can sense that big play on the part of the defense has now proven to be contagious.
Absolutely true. They took a situation that was explosive for Seattle and turned it right around. Look at the alley for Anderson to run. You give him room like this, he is extremely dangerous. Bernstein, 82, fine block on Bosworth. The room is there, and Anderson can explode, and when that happens, look out, folks.
At the 34-yard line of Seattle, the Chargers have a 1st and 10. 9:30 to play, 3rd quarter. Anderson and Bosworth is waiting.
Today's game is brought to you by Coors Light. There's no slowing down with a silver bullet. It's the right beer now. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
Coming up, a 2nd down and 12. 2 additional defensive backs, Vernon Dean and Terry Taylor, checked into the secondary for Seattle. Early in motion. Anderson. Well, he got about 9 yards back before Paul Moyer was able to put the hit on him, and Eugene Robinson to help out. Here's another. I think quarterbacks must have nightmares about 3rd down situations, Merlin. My goodness.
The pressure is on, I'll tell you that, and it never seems to go away. Tom Catlin calling the defenses from the far side of the field as you see him signaling into his players. Catlin will have a few nightmares, too. His nightmares have come from the injury route as he's had to worry about preparing a team without starting cornerbacks for this game, although he did get one of them back because of Taylor's situation.
3rd down, 4.5.
Draw, quarterback draw.
And Laufenberg gets a first. Heaslett carrying the ball like a running back. He refused to go down in a safe manner, and that caused some confrontations.
You can see why they love him. His teammates love him. He is a tough fighter. It's a situation where it is a deliberate quarterback draw, and Laufenberg almost falls down. Look at that. Got the hand down, and then did a great job of running inside. Gets away from 77, Jeff Bryant. Jenkins takes a pop on him. I'll tell you what this San Diego team is thinking right now. We have destructed so many times. They've gone 57 straight possessions without a touchdown. And they've only had 8 TDs in their last 10 games. They need to punch it into the end zone.
1st down at the 17. Now Anderson picks up about 7 yards. Laufenberg, by the way, has carried 4 times for 28 yards, and I can still see that collision with Melvin Jenkins of the secondary when he picked up that last 1st down. 2nd down, 4 yards away from a 1st down. Well, San Francisco at least has scored a touchdown and trailed by 14 in the 3rd. Raiders have come back to tie up the Rams, and it's still, my goodness, who would have wagered that 8 points would be scored at this stage of a giant Dallas game. Anderson, 12 carries, 63 yards. Flag down.
Too much time?
Probably. Clock shows 6:22 to play in the third quarter in a game that has the...
False
76.
start. Oh, my.
Still second down.
Oh, boy. That's Broderick Thompson of the offensive line made the false start.
Now this San Diego team down close to that goal line have made so many mistakes on the day. They seem to have a death wish of some kind, fighting it. San Diego with 7 penalties for 50 yards on the day. Boy, you don't want to self-destruct. You can see the Seahawks numbers, which are much, much less. Second and long yardage.
Second down 9, 16-yard line. Bernstein is the H-back in motion. Here's the blitz. But Bernstein inside the 10. Now, that might have been, in my opinion, Merlin, as well as Laufenberg has thrown a pass in consideration of everything, the pressure and all.
Great pressure on him. He didn't panic. He gets the ball to his H-back, Rod Bernstein, who's a fine receiver, good hands. The blitz is coming from the left side of your picture. That's Bruce Schultz, 58, all alone in there. But he was able to spot the open receiver and quickly get it off. Third and short yardage, just outside of the 7-yard line.
Third down, 1. Just over 5 minutes to play in the third quarter that has the Seahawks leading 10-3. They're trailing 10-3. Who gets the ball? Spencer's the fullback. But there is... That looks like a Curtis Adams. I think he does have it.
I think he picked it up. We talked about the critical nature of third down conversions.
And it is a first down.
Right now you're watching a young team, and I say young in the sense of experience, start to grow as they begin to convert on third down situations. As they drive down and hopefully punch this one into the end zone with their 2 rookie tackles and all of their other misfits and players out of the USFL and strike players. This is a team that needs to come together. They need to have the leadership of Laufenberg. Let's see how they do.
Driving for no more than about a yard. Incidentally, I was just handed a note, Merlin, that is very significant, I think. The Chargers have converted 3 of 3 first downs on third down here in the second half.
That'll tell you something in itself. Al Saunders on the sideline, and I think what he will respond to positively at this time is the fact that this team has such a fragile confidence. They need to do some positive things to boost that confidence. One of the things this offense needs to do is to get the feeling that they can put it into the end zone.
Second and goal at the 3. Laufenberg saw every potential receiver covered.
He's got to throw it away in that situation, and that's the experience that he will gain in time. And I'm sure as he looks at the films, he'll be told at least a dozen times, just throw the football away.
Bruce Schultz came in to drop him for a loss from the 3 to the 15. So it is now third down at the 15-yard line.
Just to expand on that third down problem, in the first half, San Diego converted 1 of 7 first downs, and they're 3 for 3, as you mentioned, here in the second half. This one, the most critical that they've had in the game.
They're bringing Flutie in motion.
No way.
No way. Just a very short gain as the pass was completed to Eric Sievers. Sometimes a tight end, sometimes an H-back. So it's going to be time for the field goal unit.
And the bugaboo of not being able to get the touchdown, although they certainly will take the 3 points. But certainly if you can get that ball into the end zone, if you don't get the penalty, if you don't get the sack, then you begin to feel very much different about yourself. Saunders will not show his concern for that play, but it's there.
30-yard attempt.
Bad hold.
No.
Was the snap bad on that play? And they come away with nothing. I believe that snap may have been low, and it looked like the hold was not perfect.
So the question now is an obvious one. Will that So the score remains 10-3 San Diego.
A missed opportunity. Oof, look at that.
Oh, I was going to wonder whether that is going to deflate the Chargers.
Well, you take the ball, you control it that long, and you have a chance to score, and then at least a chance for 3. You come up empty. It has to hurt.
So Seattle from the Seattle 20. 2:26 to play, third quarter. John Williams. Of yards.
Let's go back, Ray, and look at what happened on the field goal. First, the snap is low. Snap is low and to the right. Watch the snap coming in now. A little bit difficult to handle. And then because of that, the ball is not set properly. You watch from behind, the ball never really set properly, is kicked to the right and just does not hook back in. And Al Saunders, who felt so good about that drive, has seen his team come away empty again.
4-yard pickup for Williams on first down, second down, 6. Fake to Warner. Catch by Warner, short of a first down. Pickup of 3 in the grasp of Gary Plummer, the former California player. Now the situation substitution. Now there's one of the things where the game has changed since you played, hasn't it, Merlin?
Well, I think it's continued to change, and of course part of that due to the fact that when I first came in, the limit was 33 players, and it was changed to 34. I said, boy, what are they going to do with that extra player? Well, of course, they have 45 now today, and a lot of those extra players are players who go in particular situations.
4 wide receivers for Craig as targets on third down and 3 at the 27 of Seattle.
Good play. Elvis Patterson.
Yes.
Well, they call him Toast because he gets burned quite frequently, but he is better than his reputation, has the ability to make some big plays at times, and he just made one here. That ball, you watch him inside right there, getting the bump on Largent, and then reaching back. Had he not touched that ball, that would have been right into the hands of Brian Blades, young rookie number 89.
So it's punt formation time for Ruben Rodriguez. And Lionel James is back to accept the punt.
He's dangerous. He's dangerous. Short kick.
35-yard line and no place to go. 38-yard punt. 2 flags just now. 2 flags went flying after the tackle was made. Did you notice anything?
Rufus Porter, I think, was the player there. But I don't know what happened. We'll let the officials sort it out.
The return was at the 36-yard.
Personal fouls. Number 97, Seattle. Number 43, San Diego, will offset. First down.
So, in effect, nothing happened as far as the ball changing, and we'll be right back. .47 seconds left, third quarter. First and 10, Chargers, their own 36. Anderson, that's some pretty good up-front blocking to pick up 3 or 4 yards. To show you how this game has had its ebbs and flows, Seattle had time of possession overwhelmingly in its favor in the first half. It trailed 10-3. Third quarter so far, San Diego's had the ball for 17 plays and Seattle for 5, and there hasn't been a score. Meanwhile, the Raiders and the Rams locked in a tie in the third period. Giants with almost a 2-run edge over Dallas.
Somebody got an RBI there.
Yep. Anderson's had a very productive day.
Yeah, 14 times he's carried for 69 yards.
And there we have reached the end of the third quarter. And we'll return to Jack Murphy Stadium after these messages from your local station. With Merlin Olsen, this is Ray Scott in San Diego, Jack Murphy Stadium. We've had no scoring in the second half, and as we start the fourth quarter, the Chargers have the ball, leading 10-3, second down 7 from their own 40. Anderson, who's had a good day running. This time he's limited to about a yard as Moyer slid over to help make the play, along with Eugene Robinson, the other safety.
We talk about, and Al Saunders talks about how young his Charger team is, but there's something interesting here. You look and see that he has 19 players with 2 years or less experience. The Seahawks have 17, almost as many. The one thing that Saunders does lack, veteran leadership. 13-year veteran Don Masick, the center, is the only guy he's got that really has been around that long. But what he's saying is that this is a team that's young in the system and young with the Chargers. And we'll talk about that when we come back.
Tony Woods is an injured player, so we'll return in a moment. Third down, 6 Chargers, their own 41. Good protection so far. And Laufenberg was very fortunate that pass was not picked off. Vernon Dean was the nearest defender to the ball.
Vernon Dean, by the way, came into this locker room and ended up with a locker in the same exact position as he lockered last year when Washington was here for the Super Bowl. He said, "This is a good omen. We're coming back. I know it."
Meanwhile, we have a punt on 4th down by, oh boy, all the way back to the 3-yard line is Bobby Edmonds. Mosienko with a great punt, pretty good return, but Seattle will not have a great field position. We're going to leave you for just a moment, but we'll be back with the remaining moments of this game.
Today's game is brought to you by Michelob. Michelob is a proud sponsor of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. By Mitsubishi Motors, who invite you to come see the full line of cars and trucks. Mitsubishi, suddenly the obvious choice. And by Dr. Pepper and Dr. Pepper bottlers throughout the USA.
I want to update you on Tony Woods, who was injured several plays back. He was okay. He left the field under his own power. The report is he's all right now. Now let's see about the Seahawks, who are going to have a rookie wide receiver, Brian Blades. Ray Butler hasn't played here for a little while. And the decision we understand is they're just not playing him. So,
well, we really like the speed and the temperament of this young rookie. He's getting a chance to show his stuff.
So the youngster on the right, the veteran Largent on the left, from the 18-yard line of the Seahawks. Craig, he's going for Blades, but no chance. That had about a 6 or 7 yard lead on the receiver.
Ray, while we have a second here, let's go back and finish that story we started to talk about. When Al Saunders said that this is a young team, he's really referring to the fact that they are young within the system. This is, as we mentioned, a new offense coordinated by Jerry Rome, and also they have had 32 players, 17 last year and 15 this year, come into this team organization who had never played for the Chargers. So that's a total of 32 out of 47 in their first or second year with this team.
Now Butler is in, number 33, and he's wide to the right on 2nd down 10. And the pass is complete to Butler, and he has a first down. And more out to the 39-yard line. And meanwhile, Craig really was decked, and he has sustained at least a slight injury to his right arm.
You see him holding that right shoulder down. He really got buried. Here is Butler. Patterson working man-to-man. Does not respond well as Butler just floats to the inside in the zone. And going back, it was Gary Plummer, number 50. Watch it here as Plummer from the backside dumps Craig right on that shoulder. And that's why he got up. Ooh, he is in pain. That hurt.
Well, Lee Williams, how much does Williams weigh? My goodness, that's a tremendous weight. Whew. And
see him on the sideline. He is in pain, and we've got a new quarterback in the ball game.
Jeff Kemp will take over. Jeff Kemp is now the quarterback, number 15. 1st and 10 Seahawks at their own 39. Through the arms of Warner at the 41-yard line.
Greg wincing in pain on that sideline.
Jeff Kemp has been around 8 years, played his college ball at Dartmouth. And he comes into a very critical situation here with 13:41 left and his heavily favored Seahawks trailing 10-3.
Experienced backup quarterback, but that's a tough situation to just jump off the bench and not be warmed up, and suddenly you're in the game.
There was a misread there, it would appear. He thought Blades was going to do one thing, and Kemp had a different idea. Result, it is now Seattle that is faced with a 3rd down and 10.
Some good numbers for Jeff Kemp off the '87 season. 5 touchdowns and 1 interception. Very, very positive numbers for a backup quarterback.
On converting 3rd down, Seattle started out 3 for 3, but since then are 1 out of 5. Now another opportunity, but with a different quarterback, Kemp from the Seahawk 39. There's a flag down. There it would be the lack of working together as much as Craig has worked with Largent. This time it's Jeff Kemp trying to hook up with Largent.
But what a sad mistake as you see a bump that's going to cost San Diego a chance to take the football back right here on the punt. Someone did a little bumping job. That's Largent, who's trying to come back to help his quarterback.
Leg use of the hands, number 50, 5 yards,
Gary
and a first
Plummer,
down.
the linebacker in the middle, taking the defensive calls, accused of illegal use of hands, probably beyond that 5-yard zone.
And the result, Kemp and company have new life after the penalty and an automatic first down at the Seahawk 44.
Jim Weitzel, the trainer on the far side, working on that shoulder of Craig's. And boy, this has been a tough season on quarterbacks already.
This is Williams.
We'll go back and take a peek at that play that dumped Craig so hard to the ground. Again, hit from behind by number 50. Plummer just buried him, and you see them. It would look that they're trying to get some ice under the pads. He is still in pain. And that area that he came down on, and we'll get back to that, but the area came down on, that skinned area without the grass, there's no bounce to that area.
Williams picked up 5 as he was escorted by Millard.
There was
Second down,
the
5.
play right there. You just saw him dumped.
Warner. Great balance and a great gain inside the 40 to the Charger 37, where Chuck Possett and Vency Glenn teamed up to make the tackle.
End zone replay of that last explosive play as you watch Warner using some of his cutting ability.
First and 10. Seahawks, 38-yard line of the Chargers. 12 minutes to play in the game. Williams. There was great teamwork by the defense. Now Bayless will be credited with the tackle, but Keith Baldwin might have had a bigger part in it.
You're absolutely right. Tremendous penetration over there. 71, Brian Millard pulling out to lead, and there is Baldwin just knocking him off the line. John L. Williams has nowhere to go, and Martin Bayless, number 44, right there to just bury the ball carrier.
Second down, 18. Now back at the Charger 46.
Another big play for this Charger defense.
Kemp from the shotgun formation. This pass is complete to Paul Scansey. Now we're coming up with, as we start to be able to summarize what transpired today, the Jets with a tremendous win. Kansas City, that's considered an upset. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh in one of their typical neighborhood brawls. Buffalo came from behind to win that one. The Packers lose another. Miami gets win number 1. Washington recovering after that opening loss. Vikings with a big win within the division. New Orleans wins. Phoenix wins. And here are some of the things that happened today. More quarterbacks injured today. And then we add one that just happened here in Dave Craig. This is a 3rd and 10. Pressure. Now Largent, the intended receiver, is complaining. He thought Elvis Patterson should have been called for interference, and there's a flag down behind the line of scrimmage.
It would appear that it's a roughing the quarterback call. As you watch the blitz coming, they're sending everybody in the world. Williams from the outside, and he gets called for roughing the quarterback right there. The ball was gone. Lee Williams, 99.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 99, defense, first down.
As we looked at that replay of Craig getting hurt earlier, I think I said Plummer. It was Williams, wasn't it, that was on his back at that time. So Williams has become a pain in the neck. 9 penalties today, 9 penalties against the Chargers. That one will keep the drive alive. Williams angry, I'm sure, did not think it was fair, but comes up, he looks at that flag. I didn't do anything, but he did. You got to stay off of that quarterback.
Result, 2 penalties in this drive. One that kept the drive definitely alive. That penalty occurred on 2nd down. It's a first down at the 22.5-yard line of the Chargers. 10:24 to play.
Crowd didn't like it.
No. Warner.
No way. Mike Charles, 71, and Gary Plummer, 50, both there to strip him down. Ray, while we have a second, I'm sure there are folks up in Seattle saying, why Kemp in this game? Why not your young quarterback, Kelly Stouffer, who's sitting on the bench? Let's go back and look at that last play. We mentioned Charles, number 71. You see him there, and he is having a fine day inside. He has had some conditioning problems and has not played that well in the final part of games in the past, but he's still going strong here today.
Loss of 2, 2nd down, 12.
Play action.
It was intended for Brian Blades, but never had a chance. So here we go again, another 3rd down coming up for a quarterback.
Let's finish the thought on Kelly Stouffer. Of course, the Seahawks trading away their first pick to get Stouffer, who did not sign with the Phoenix Cardinals. They have been bringing him along slowly, but they do not feel that he is ready to be thrown into the game. So it would be Jeff Kemp, and later on, it would be Stouffer perhaps when he is ready. But the hopes are that this injury to Craig is not a serious one.
3rd down and 12. Largent in motion. 4 wide receivers. Almost intercepted. He tried to get the ball to Ray Butler on a crossing pattern, but Vency Glenn batted it away.
Vency Glenn is the best of this defensive secondary. He's a fine free safety and shows you his range here. Tip that ball very often when it's hanging in the air like that. Another defender will come along and scoop it up.
Norm Johnson out of a hold by Kemp will attempt a 42-yard field goal with 9:32 left and the Seahawks down by 7. So the Seahawks are on the board for the 2nd time thanks to the special team led by Johnson. We'll be back. As an ever-optimistic Al Saunders looks on, the head coach of the Chargers, Johnson prepares to kick to Miller in the middle, Anthony Miller, Adams, or Holland. This will be Miller at the 5. To the 24-yard line. Would you expect any change now with a little over 9 minutes left in the game in Seattle's defensive approach here?
Well, I think they have to get a little more aggressive and try to get a turnover, but that's always a part of their philosophy. They have been tremendous at getting turnovers over the past years under Knox. You see Jim Weitzel coming over to talk to Knox. The trainer, I'm sure he's talking about Craig's shoulder, and you know the growing concern there. If I were on the other sideline right now, I would think about getting that offense going. This has been a very poor game for both offenses. Only 3 field goals on the day.
Gary Anderson, who's had an excellent day, picks up 4 yards. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the San Diego Chargers and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the National Football League, the San Diego Chargers, and the Seattle Seahawks. All rights are reserved. Anderson, 16 carries, 75 yards, second down, 6. And Laufenberg has short of a first down as he got the ball to his H-back, Rod Bernstein, with Paul Moyer, the strong safety, making certain there was no further advance. So I guess we'll have a scenario of third downs for the rest of the game. Here we go for the Chargers.
Neither team able to generate much in the way of offense.
Jim Tunney, the referee, just blew his whistle as we await a third down and 3.
Question about where the ball is spotted. What are they doing here?
I don't know.
Mechanical replacement.
A mechanical replacement. I guess the yard marker is not working. Something's not going.
Oh boy, it just disintegrated.
And the wheels come off. Well, that kind of. We talked about Kelly Stouffer a few minutes ago, and of course we expected to see Kemp come into this ball game because Knox had said that he would put Kemp in, but Stouffer is on the inactive list for this game. So even if they had wanted to go to Kelly Stouffer, they couldn't have gone to him because they've kept him out of uniform today. But that is the danger. There's a little Russian roulette in that. If you have 2 quarterbacks go down, then you've got to go to an emergency quarterback.
For whatever value it might be, Babe Laufenberg has completed 9 of 20, 93 yards. He's had 1 picked off.
Well, I don't think you'll have to say what he said last week. He said when your highlight of the game is a block you threw as a quarterback, you know you had a few problems. He has had a few good plays on today.
Very definitely. 2nd and 3 at the 31-yard line of the Chargers.
I think he got it.
Yes, I think the receiver's feet, yes, were just beyond the 35, and that is of course, every third down now is going to be important, whether you're looking at it from a Charger point of view or a Seattle point of view.
And every third down that this team picks up will help with their confidence factor. Laufenberg got that one off, ripped it out of there in a hurry, and just barely ekes out the first down. But hey, who cares? He got the first down, eats some of the clock, keeps the drive alive.
And it's a first down at the Charger 35 as we look at other scores. Yes, here comes Early. He got about 4 yards, Quinn Early, before he was hauled down by Jeff Bryant.
As we were talking yesterday to Al Saunders, he only had a few minutes with us because he was the babysitter. His wife Karen is back in Washington, D.C. She's the PTA president here at the Jarabeck Elementary School. That's up in the Scripps Ranch area. They'd received a national award for the School Quality Award, and as the PTA president, she was back there accepting it. He's just like all the rest of us. He had to babysit, right?
Okay, 2nd down 6, 39-yard line of the Chargers. Only 6.5 minutes left.
Paul Moyer, number 21, who's had a couple of big plays and an interception on the day, right there to shake the ball right out of Quinn Early's arms. That ball well thrown. Looked to be a reception.
It looked to me like he really whistled that ball.
He has a strong arm, a live arm. It was one of those guys that has always been able to throw it, and you saw that ball just ejected out of there. Big hit, Paul Moyer.
Incomplete pass, stop the clock, 6:29 left. Chargers leading 10-6. And I mean 6:29 left in the game. 3rd down and 6, Chargers at their 39. Lionel James is in there, as he has been on most third down situations. James is in the pass pattern. Pass complete. Anthony Miller in the grasp of Dwayne Harper.
Anthony Miller coming right at you as Laufenberg, under pressure from Bosworth, finds the young receiver and unloads the football. Derek Harper, also a rookie, trying to cover him there. There is Bosworth, 55 on the blitz, And I'll tell you, Laufenberg came up and limped a little bit after that one.
It's a first down, a key first down. Clock running, 5:50 left. Early to the right, Anthony Miller to the left. 46-yard line of Seattle. Bernstein is the man in motion. And there goes Anderson. Almost broke it, but Moyer got him from behind. I'll tell you, Moyer has played a tremendous game.
Has made some big plays, as has Anderson. Of course, one of the questions you have to ask, Anderson not as big physically as a lot of backs around the league, and you've got to wonder how long he can stand up if he has to carry the ball as many times as he has carried it today.
2nd down and 4 after Anderson picked up the 6-yard gain, and now we're down to 5:10 left in the clock running. Anderson down to the 25-yard line on a first down, and Eugene Robinson had to drag him down, and Anderson is moving very close to the 100-yard mark for the day.
You bet he is.
There it is, 18 carries, 96
yards on the day. And I mentioned that he is not the big back that you would like to have in a one-back offense, but he certainly has made his presence felt today. He's been a pain in the neck for the Seattle defense. They are thinking pass, and they get the little quick draw play, and if you give him room to run, he'll rock.
Almost 2 years ago, I'm told, Anderson had a 100-yard game against Kansas City.
He's been playing a lot of wide receiver over the past few years.
Bernstein is in motion.
Reverse again.
It's a fake reverse.
Look
Anderson
out.
keeps it.
Touchdown.
They won't catch him. Touchdown.
Was so good, he even got our cameraman momentarily. You can see why the Seahawks couldn't see where it was. Eugene Robinson, 41, the last man with a chance, could not get to Anderson, who goes in to score.
Well, it wasn't very pretty, that extra point, but it was certainly...
It's been that kind of day for these Chargers. But you know what? They don't care. They needed a victory so bad. That 8-game losing streak hanging heavy on them. The pain that they've taken, the abuse they've taken here in the local community, hanging heavy on them. Well, looks like they're going to get out from underneath it today. Sometimes, even when you're not fooled, the speed just kills you. Bosworth can see the play, 55, but Anderson just explodes. And that's what that great quickness and explosion, that's why they drafted him out of Arkansas. He showed some flashes of that early, and they're hoping that he can sustain it. Gets a hug from Al Saunders there, and I'm sure he said, hey, that's the kind of play that we've got to have to turn things around here.
Merlin, I had an opportunity to televise an Arkansas game when he played in the Bluebonnet Bowl in Houston. And he had a marvelous game that time, and I had a chance to watch him in the U.S. Football League. And it's very nice to see him come up with a game like this, because in the first 2 games this year, he had been averaging just a little over 2 yards a carry. And he's had a great game today. So now it's 4:05 remaining. Abbott kicking. Edmonds at the 2. To the 27-yard line, where Jeffrey Jackson made the tackle. In case you've joined us along the way, I've been busy with some other activities. We're at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, and the we would be Merlin Olsen, and my name's Ray Scott. And this has been just a an invigorating sort of a game.
It has. A strange kind of game. We've only had one offensive touchdown on the day. That one just scored by Gary Anderson on a fake reverse. Been a day more or less dominated by the defenses and by frustration offensively. But what a big day for these Chargers, who now are on the verge of winning their first game on the season, their first in 9 starts straight.
Jeff Kemp, in relief of injured Dave Craig, has completed 1 of 5 passes. There's Largent building on his lead, as he had set a record earlier today, most yards by receiver, breaking Charlie Joyner's record. That was an 18-yard completion.
They're already into the 2-minute offense. They know they need more than a touchdown.
Flag down. And that's Brian Blades, giving a little indication of why the Seahawks are so high on this young man's ability out of Miami of Florida.
Motion. A mistake from Seattle. They have not been heavily penalized today, but that will negate about a 12-yard gain. Here is that first touchdown drive that the Chargers have had in so long.
Number 82, still first down.
9 plays, 73 yards, a couple of foolers in that play. They capped it off with the big play, the home run. 25 yards on the fake reverse, and this is a Charger team that is swinging for the wall. They swing for the ball. They want to go deep on the pass. They want to hit you with that long gainer, and they got it there.
And as a result, a 17-6 lead, and that penalty makes it 1st and 15 at the Seahawk 40. This is Scansey, who was the man in motion.
Scansey picks up about 9 yards, almost 10 yards on the play. Seattle right on the line.
Gary Plummer made the tackle. The hurry-up offense now is in a 2nd and 5 at the 50, and a flag down. This is sort of a free one, I do believe.
You bet. Lee Williams offsides on the left-hand side, too eager, and they're going to have a choice of the penalty or the reception, one or the other.
One of the additional defensive backs, Roy Bennett, who played at Jackson State, made the tackle. Now, the progress of the receiver was enough to give the Seahawks a first down at the 44-yard line of the Chargers.
Now you're down to your only quarterback.
Offside, defense, number 99. Penalty is declined.
You don't want him hurt, and Lee Williams has been all over the quarterbacks today. You saw him mash Craig earlier. He's had an outstanding day, beating Mike Wilson up on that right side of Seattle's line.
Clock starts to work again. Less than 3 minutes now. This will be a 1st and 10 play. Here comes the pressure.
Whoa, what a hit.
How in heaven's name did Blades hold on to the ball?
Elvis Patterson, and that's the kind that your pride gets you up from. Patterson unloading on Blades. That was a fine catch. 2nd and 5.
Gain 6. 2nd down 5.
Oh, that's the same kind of play we saw for a touchdown earlier. 72, Carl Wilson from the inside. They rolled him in there. We saw one batted earlier right into the arms of Keith Browner for a touchdown. One play ago, that crisp hit. Boy, I tell you, Elvis Patterson right here. Watch the hit on Blades. I tell you, this San Diego defense has taken some strides today. They've kind of taken charge of this game today.
Now it's a 3rd and 4 at the 39-yard line of the Chargers, and the clock tells us 2 minutes 24 seconds remain in a game that has the Chargers leading 17-6 in quest of victory number 1.
Ooh, look out.
Oh, boy.
When you're the only healthy quarterback on the field for your team, you better be getting yourself on the ground. He wanted to pick up that first down. It was 3rd and 5. I'm sure he got it, and maybe he was just concerned about picking it up. Watch Kemp. Under pressure. Gets away, gets unhooked, and gets downfield. Has the first down at this point. And we've got a Charger player down on the field. Woof.
That was Gary Plummer, who took a shot from one of the players trying to escort the quarterback, Kemp. And it's 2:09 left. Plummer appears to have sustained an injury to his right shoulder. That's where the contact was made.
Well, and that's another linebacker. And, of course, we talked about Billy Ray's injury. There aren't that many linebackers in uniform for these Chargers as it is. They can ill afford to lose another. They have had to go to a four-down lineman alignment today, which has basically been their set for the day because of those injuries.
Merlin mentioned that there had been just one touchdown scored by an offensive.
Well, in 58 consecutive drives, they had not been able to get 7 points on the board until now. Al Saunders talked about what he had to do yesterday. He said, we've got to protect our quarterback better, get more pressure on their quarterback. They've done that. He said, we've got to get turnovers. They've been able to get turnovers today. And he said, we've got to get more consistency out of our offense. Well, they haven't really been consistent, but here in the second half, they've come alive. They're 5 for 7 on third down conversions, and they sustained that nice drive in a time when they had to get points on the board.
Fortunately, Gary Plummer is able to leave the field under his own power. It was a first down run by a very determined Jeff Kemp, and the ball is at the 33-yard line of the Chargers. 2 minutes, 9 seconds left to play, and the clock starts to go again. Applied and a flag down away from the play.
Number 99, Lee Williams again. And how many times today, Ray, have we mentioned his name? There's some holding going on the far side of the field as Largent had beaten his man, but there was some holding going on inside as well. Watch Largent.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get by. They're going to undress him out there.
Meanwhile,
holding, number 34, defense.
Elvis Patterson. There's Williams just waiting for Kemp. There's no place to go on that one.
1:59 left. We've all been informed of that, so we'll be back. A real force in this game has been number 99, Lee Williams.
He certainly has. He's been all over the quarterback. Had 31.5 sacks over the last 3 seasons, although last year was not as effective because he was missing a playmate in there. Leslie O'Neal, who had been the most valuable rookie the year before, such an outstanding player, had given them a 1-2 punch with Williams in there that was hard to contain. You saw Craig take the brunt of a shot earlier from Williams, and you've seen him bury Kemp more than once. He has been a force to be reckoned with, and that is so important, in particular with Billy Ray Smith on the sideline. They had to have him step forward, and I'm sure that Al Saunders challenged him today to step forward and take some leadership on the field. He certainly has done that.
As a result of the penalty, first down at the 28-yard line of the Chargers for Seattle. Down he goes.
And guess who?
Guess who? I'll tell you, we're going to have to vote for that MVP pretty soon, and I'll tell you, I'm getting swayed a bit.
Well, I'll tell you, he has had an outstanding day. It's been a day for the defense. Mike Wilson, 75 again, is going to wish he never sees number 99 Williams, who has great explosion off of that ball.
Loss of 8, second down 18. And a gain to the 30 by Paul Scansey.
Ray,
takes a timeout.
Just a quick tag to that. Leslie O'Neal worked out on Friday for the first time in a year and a half. He may be coming back to this defense.
17-6. Third down 12, Seahawks. 1:43 remaining. 4 wide receivers. There's Largent and a flag down.
And I think although Mike Wilson kept Lee Williams off the quarterback, he did it by hanging on to him on that play.
So we have 2 flags down. One at the 11-yard line of the Chargers, and the other that will indicate what Merlin just referred to, a probable holding penalty against Seattle.
offsetting fouls, holding number 34 defense, holding number 70 offense, offset fouls, still third down.
Now they're calling it on Mattis on the other side, the opposite tackle. First 2 games, this Charger defense was torn up for 58 points. Well, they didn't get torn up today. They've done the tearing on a Seattle offense. A Seattle team, by the way, that had not lost to them since way back on October 9th of '83. Knox has only lost 1 out of 9 games to San Diego since he got into the league, and since he came to Seattle.
3rd and 12. Here comes the pressure again. And it's caught by Williams. There was a play that was not really in the game plan, and we have a Seahawk who's down, and this obviously has been a very physical game.
Gutsy play by the backup quarterback, Jeff Kemp, as he stands in there under pressure, gets out. Watch him catch his balance. 72 Carl Wilson all over him. That ball fluttering as it comes down. Good block by Largent.
Meanwhile, we're going to all
down.
catch our breath, I think, and then we'll be back. The last play will be replayed.
It would appear that Largent may have injured himself blocking for John L. Williams on that last play. We mentioned that Largent is a fine blocker. He's not afraid to throw his body in there. Throws on 34 Elvis Patterson may have hurt himself. John L. Williams down for the first down. He's on the 11-yard line. But the critical thing at this moment, the clock. 1:24 left to go in this game. And the Seahawks obviously have to have the touchdown and more. So right now they're thinking, get it into the end zone. We need an onside kick then, and then we'll finally have an opportunity. I'm sure Chuck Knox on the far sideline is thinking, boy, how many chances we blew early in this ball game.
Particularly 2 key turnovers. One was turned into a touchdown. Keys batted it in the air, Tyrone Keys. Keith Browner ran it in for a touchdown. And then Bird made a critical interception, and Steve Largent is up.
Well, how have the Chargers performed today? Pretty darn good, I'd say. Laufenberg's numbers are kind of sour because he did not play that well in the first half. Has had a much better second half.
But meanwhile, Anderson was a big force. Flutie was a force. And the defense was a tremendous force. First down, 11-yard line of the Chargers. That time, Kemp deliberately throws it away, and that means we have 1:18 left. And, you know, a lot of times, Merlin, I forget to thank people who help us here in the booth so very much. I'm going to do it right now. Our veteran statistician, Dennis Mnuchin, and our spotters, Rick Farris and Jan Chapman Jr., thank you very much to all of you for your help today and helping keep things in an orderly fashion here in the booth, in addition to all of the folks from NBC whose names you will see very shortly. Well, I guess maybe we won't, but we're thinking about
They were great.
Oh, they were great. Second down, 10. Intercepted. Gil Bird has his second interception of the day, and if the game ends with this score, and there's only 1:09 remaining, 17-6 Chargers, that would have to be a very fitting sort of a climax.
The defense taking it away in a situation, a must touchdown situation. 22, Gil Bird back in that nickelback formation. Bad pass. Kemp simply didn't have it on target, and Bird knows what to do with it. He's not about to give it back to Seattle.
Timeouts remaining. The Seahawks have but one, and it's rather unimportant to point out that the Chargers have 3. First down, Chargers at their 15. Just a minute and a couple of seconds away from a very coveted first win of the season. All they're going to do is protect the football here. Babe Laufenberg who played his college football at Indiana University.
Well, if you're grading the Seahawks today, I think you're going to put down some pretty tough grades. I mean, tough in the sense of no, did not get it done. Craig's number is 134, but the big note there, injured. A question mark still hanging. Warner, who has 59 yards on the day, and John L. Williams, of course, early, but not so much late in the ball game. What frustration if you're going to be a championship team, Ray, and I know you go back to the great Packer years, you have to win the games that you're expected to win. And this was a game that the Seahawks not only expected to win, but everyone else expected them to win. That particular scene right there bodes ill for not only Seahawk performances over the next couple of weeks, but if that is a shoulder separation and a serious one, that means that they will be out without Craig's services for a number of weeks.
Meanwhile, the injuries to quarterbacks around the league this and earlier weeks, plus some of the results today, has definitely just scrambled about everything around the league. Now, the Seahawks can no longer stop the clock. 1:04 left. Taking no chances. The Chargers we are about to vote on the MVP of this game. We saw Keith Browner a moment ago, who scored a touchdown on a pass interception on a ball batted by teammate Tyrone Keys. We've had Gil Bird, who's made a couple of interceptions. We had Gary Anderson with his great running. Lothenberg with certainly a very productive day. So after this play, we'll pass along our choice of MVP. This will be, barring a penalty flag drop, the final play of the game.
Well, we're going to give it to two people. The first, a defensive end who has owned his position on the field, constantly harassing today.
And in addition to Williams, Gary Anderson, number 40, who scored the touchdown that clinched it. So it is time officially for our most valuable player. It is sponsored by Budweiser, and we use the plural today, the most valuable players. That young man, Gary Anderson, and the man who was a terror on defense, Lee Williams, both of them from the Chargers. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games. We'll return for a wrap-up to Jack Murphy Stadium in a moment. Well, Merlin, can you possibly summarize everything that happened today in just a few seconds?
Well, I think the best part of playing football, the best part of this game is winning and getting paid. And the winning came for San Diego today, their first win of the season. We get to see them next week against a team that won also for the first time today, Kansas City. I got to tell you, it's been great working with you, my friend. I enjoyed you when you were with Green Bay, and I enjoyed having a chance to work with you today.
Merlin, it's been a real delight, and we'll return right after this. It was a game this afternoon that, needless to say, will be cause for celebration, not only on the part of the players, but also for the folks here in San Diego who were hopeful that this team could shake off the early season doldrums, which saw them lose two games and in rather ignominious fashion. But today, a rewarding victory for the Chargers, a tough loss for Seattle, mainly because they lost Dave Craig.
This broadcast has been a presentation of NBC Sports, proud to be the network of the Summer Olympic Games.